if you've watched all of my videos, or you've watched my rose videos, or you've watched me trying out perfumes that have rose in to try and find my favourite rose perfume, you might have already heard me talking about this perfume, because basically what I've been looking for years and years, is a cheap and easy to get alternative to Jean-Charles Brosseau's Fleur d'Ombre Rose. Now, this is a perfume that I had many years ago. This probably is the first perfume that I wore after I ran out of the discontinued signature scent that I used to wear for 16 years, may I add, by Nina Ricci, called La Belle de Ricci Liberty Fizz. So I'd hoarded and bought up every bottle of that I could get my hands on. As soon as I found it was discontinued, I'd spent hundreds and hundreds of pounds. And when I actually ran out, at least when I was getting near to the end of running out, I was like, I need to find something else to wear at the same time as this, because it will soon be gone forever. So I live and work in I don't live in central London, because you'd have to be rich, but I live in London, I work in central London, and therefore I'm very close to all of the big what are they called, the department stores. And I went into Selfridges. I'd been to back when Debenhams and House of Fraser and all of those, before they all closed down on Oxford Street. I'd been and smelt so many perfumes. I'd even bought some that then I just didn't like wearing. And I went to Selfridges, and they've got some kind of more niche, kind of lesser known perfume brands on the actual desks in there, like that, where they've got like lots of different perfumes when they're not specific to a particular house or designer. And I was like, oh, Fleur d'Ombre Rose, I just liked the sound of it. I also smelled the violet one, and I liked the violet one as well, but these are expensive perfumes. So I smelt this one, I sprayed it on my skin, and I was like, wow, this is pricey. It's like twice the price of what I'm currently wearing, but I can actually wear it. It doesn't give me a headache. It doesn't make me feel nauseous. It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. It's really nice. So I bought it, and I loved it, but it didn't last very long. It is an eau de toilette, as you can see, but I think even back then, I think it was probably £50 for maybe a 50ml bottle. I might have had a smaller one at the time, and it just didn't last very well. So I sort of found myself wearing it in the evening, or if I was going to go to bed, or if I had a date or whatever, and I just wanted to smell really pretty, but I knew it didn't really matter if it lasted too long. And I love it. I loved it then, but it also, to be honest, from my memory, didn't last very long. If you don't wear it all the time, these go off quite quickly. So I was kind of like, this is just not good value for money. So I stopped buying it, and I thought, it's all right. One day I'll find something that smells like it, and I never ever found anything that smells like it. So I made the decision, because I wanted to have it for the week that sort of basically for my wedding week. Which sounds ridiculous, because but we're having like a country kind of wedding thing with our families, so we're going to be away for a week in the countryside, in the UK countryside, and I just wanted this perfume with me. I just wanted it again. So I decided, if you're ever going to spend 50 quid on a 50ml bottle of perfume that doesn't really last very long, then your wedding is a good reason to get it. Interestingly, I think this might have been reformulated. And I'm not saying that because I don't like it as much. I'm saying it because it smells stronger. Now, this used to have it was always the same shape, it was the same colour, but it had a slightly different pattern on it. It wasn't so spaced apart. It was all closer together, and it was it definitely looked a bit different, the bottle. And this now smells quite a bit stronger than it used to my nose. And I haven't done a full wear test yet, but it lasted longer than I was expecting as well, which is obviously very good news. I'm just going to spray it in the box real quick. This is so up my street. This is a perfect fuss pot perfume, because it's rosy, but it's also slightly lemony and very berry-y, but like in a fresh raspberry, like literally a fresh rose and a fresh raspberry sprinkled with sugar and a spritz of lemon juice. That's what I think this perfume smells like. And in fact, the fresh raspberry, there's something about it. What I said was, again, if you're like from the UK, if you know what the pink jelly babies are like, it's a little bit like that, but mixed with a beautiful fresh rose. It's very up my street. Now, firstly, don't get this mixed up with Jean-Charles Brosseau Ombre Rose. Fleurs de is this one. Ombre Rose is a very different kind of rose perfume. It's a much more old-fashioned, traditional, straight-up perfumey rose. This is a very modern rose in comparison to that. So I'll read you the notes. It's kind of an older perfume, so it's got quite a few. Top notes here are rhubarb, tangerine, apple, melon, blackcurrant, orange, grapefruit and bergamot. The middle notes are rose, peach, mango, freesia and jasmine. The base notes are orris root, musk, vetiver, sandalwood and amber. And this, to me, if I could try to explain this to you in a way, like for my other perfumes that I really like, I think this smells like nowadays with what I've got. I always thought this was a little bit like, it had elements of Dior Forever and Ever, because it has that rose and freesia that's quite noticeable. It's light, it's spring-like, it's pretty and it's slightly sweet, but it's not like cloyingly sweet, and it's not thick. It's a very kind of watery, fresh, light perfume. And now I also have Jian by Lanvin, and that is a kind of raspberry perfume that's very musky. It's raspberry, freesia and musk to me, that perfume. Now, there's something about this that, like smelling it again and having both of those perfumes, I think this kind of smells like a combination of those two perfumes to me. It's got blackcurrant and rhubarb and melon in it, but there's something about it that smells like fresh raspberries to me. So if I'm looking at the votes to see how this is voted, because it's always interesting. Rose is up the top, followed by peach. I don't know that I'd agree with that. Followed by rhubarb, definitely. Followed by mango, followed by freesia, and then tangerine, and then orris root. So it's quite low down to get to the blackcurrant, and I think that's because the blackcurrant is giving this a berry vibe, but it doesn't smell like blackcurrant really. Well, maybe in like a ribena-y kind of blackcurrant, but it doesn't really smell like blackcurrant. There's something about the blackcurrant mixed with the mango and the rhubarb that I think makes it smell like raspberries. Yeah, it really is. It's like a dose of Dior Forever and Ever beautiful spring rose and freesia with that musk and raspberry from Jian from Lanvin. It's gorgeous. I mean, I'm so excited about wearing this one. I'm so happy to have this back in my collection. It's such a gorgeous perfume. And again, yeah, this is another one that smells pink. I've got a lot of pink perfumes at the moment. They're all really pink. But yeah, it's unusual for me because it's expensive. This was £50. They're normally more expensive than that, but I got it from Parfum Dreams, I think, in Europe. And it's just on a good deal there. So I just got the little one because, well, they didn't have the 30ml actually. So it was like a 100ml or a 50ml. And this was £50. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, because it's for my wedding, I'm gonna do it, because I've had my Dior Forever and Ever I've had it for ages, and that's my like actual wedding day perfume. But for the rest of the time I'm there, I'm like, I haven't bought any expensive perfumes for that occasion, because I'm wearing my old, like, stored up and treasured La Belle Zariki for my, like, registry office legal bit, and then I'm going to wear Dior Forever and Ever for the actual, like, kind of ceremony celebration. And I just would like this for the rest of the time that I'm there. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited to wear this one again. I think it's really pretty, but I definitely think it's stronger than it used to be. I mean, looking at the notes, I get more grapefruit than I used to get in this. Definitely more grapefruit. Yeah. Yeah. So I wonder if people voted for this one nowadays, if this is a new formulation, that this would be slightly different, because I get way more grapefruit than I ever did with this before. But it's still beautiful. I still love it, and I'm very, very happy to have it. I think it's gorgeous. But yeah, like I said, it's 50 quid, so it's not a cheap one.